I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and today we're going to be comparing the North Face Bozer Crossbody with the Bozer Hip Pack 3. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. So we have the crossbody on the left here and the hip pack on the right. So we're going to kind of walk through the differences just on the outside here. You can see that they are pretty much the same pack, but what we have here are the mainly the difference between them is the orientation that they sit in. So this hip pack is going to be horizontal for the most part, which is why this top carry handle is here. You can see a little bit of branding up top. And then for the crossbody, it's going to be mostly vertical, so then the carry handle is up top on that one as well. Same deal with the branding, and then the branding is fairly large on the front. So they're made with the same materials across the board. We have full reviews on both of them if you want to get into those gritty details, so definitely check those videos out. But in general, they are fairly the same. The biggest thing is really that design difference. They're both 2 liters. But you can see that this hip pack just looks a little bit larger, and that's primarily because of this extra material on the sides. Because if you look at the actual, compartments, they seem to line up fairly similarly. So even at that 2 liters, you're going to get similar storage abilities. It's just that packing that is really where the difference is. So you can see the harness system on both of these is fairly simple. It really is just the back with a larger Duraflex buckle. And so you can wear these a couple of different ways. We're going to start with the hip pack over here. You can wear it like a hip pack. That's where these gussets come in. It just kind of wraps around your body, or you can keep it as is and just wear it as a sling. So I'll kind of show you how those fit shortly. But with the crossbody, that's where it gets a little bit different. So you can wear it as a crossbody against your body, and this buckle does rest against you, but you can't really feel it. And then if you wanted to give yourself a little bit of added security, there's a stowaway buckle right in this little area here. It can be a little bit hard to get out, especially if you have stuff packed in there. But once you do get it out, you just buckle it in like that, and you get a sort of crossbody feel, but it still does lay a little bit more at your hip. So between them, they are pretty similar, just with that, single strap. And the back panels here they have no padding, no aeration, nothing like that. They're fairly simple between the two, and they are very similar. But the difference comes in how they actually rest on your body, so we can get into that. I primarily wore this hip pack in sling mode just because I felt like it curved very nicely to my body and it fit very well. But one thing to keep in mind is that with this pocket facing up, if you do switch it to your back while you still have it on, that pocket is now upside down and the logo is upside down as well. So that's something to just keep in mind. It feels very secure, but not necessarily, the best in terms of looks and style. And then you can easily switch to hip pack mode, and it fits very nicely on the hips as well. So with this crossbody here, this fits very simply on your side. It just kind of rests against you. But what I found is that it could just kind of like, as I was walking, move up and down a little bit. And so if you do want a little bit of extra security, all you need to do is flip this buckle down to the very bottom. It just secures it on either corner here and makes it feel a little bit more fitted if you're doing something more active. So the only secondary pocket on either of these is this front cinch pocket. And while they are the same, there are a few differences between the storage. So if we look at them just kind of face to face, you can see that the one on the hip pack is just a little bit bigger. And this makes a difference primarily if you're going to be storing like a water bottle or something in there. So I do have an example for you. Essentially what this is just a quick little cinch pocket with, a little stopper here. So you can open this up, put whatever gear you want inside. We'll start with this water bottle. So what we have here is a 18-ounce hydro flask. And so this going into the hip pack here, you can see it comes to about halfway up that logo. And then if you want to cinch it shut, you can. I wouldn't necessarily do this. It feels secure. You can see it starting to slip out though. So I would say in terms of like actually putting a water bottle in here, not really the best option. It just doesn't really feel, I mean, it also just kind of looks goofy, right? So, I mean, if you have this on you with the hip pack, it's going to be facing upwards. So you're not going to have it like trying to fall off. But if you were to put this into the hip pack, then it's going to sit sideways. And so that's something to keep in mind as well. Like if water bottle function is primarily what you're looking at this for, then this hip pack, or sorry, the crossbody is going to be a little bit better of an option for you. But again, looking at it about halfway up that logo. And then if I were to put it into this hip pack here, it pretty much covers it entirely. And so there's a little bit of a difference between which one can store these larger bottles. But again, if you're gonna have this on your body, then this means that this bottle is laying completely sideways. If it's like half filled with water, it's gonna be sloshing around. So it's not really the best fit I found for that, if that is what you're primarily thinking about using it for. However, what it is really great for is like a phone or like a pair of sunglasses. So kind of as an example here, that fits in nice and well. And then this is a very secure fit. So whatever you put in here, unless it's small enough to fit in this hole, isn't going to be going anywhere. And so that is for both of these pockets here. So in terms of functionality, they work about the same. The one on the hip pack is just going to be a little bit bigger. And so that is something to definitely keep in mind depending on what you're thinking of storing in each of them. One of the biggest similarities between these two is how once you get everything inside of either pack, it really starts to impact the both carry comfort and what you can store in this front compartment. So we're gonna get into this main compartment shortly, but I've got this packed out with all of my gear, and you can see it's a little bit lumpy on this back side, so that the more that you add in here, the more it's going to either come out the back, or with this front pocket, it'll start to eat into this internal space too. So like before, if you have a water bottle in there, it's going to be harder and harder to get it in and out. Or if you pack this front pocket up first, then it's going to cut into that back space. So that's something to keep in mind for either of them. The same goes for this, just because there is really nothing on that back panel in terms of padding to like really beef it out. So with this crossbody, I have this one loaded up with gear, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything from in here and put it in this, and you can kind of see how it all transfers over. But as I mentioned before, with that 2 liters of space, it really starts to feel tight in this one here. So what I have is a just basically stacked amount of gear on the inside of this one here, and this narrower opening makes it harder to get to everything at once. So say you can see I have my keys down there, right? And so it's like I want to get to my keys, I just got home. I have to take out a couple of different things to get to what I need to. So it's a little bit finicky in that sense. I can always just put my wallet down there at the bottom, but then my keys are on top. They're resting kind of right up against my phone. And then if I want to get to my wallet, I have to do the same exact thing. So I found that to be the biggest nuisance of this one here that made just access a little bit difficult once I had everything on the inside. Another thing is I have a little tube of chapstick in here, and that thing is just kind of getting lost on the side. But what I did like to do, this is an iPhone 13, it fits nice in this back panel pocket here. So it was nice to be able to have that because it sort of acted as like a makeshift back panel, but it does have that same functionality in the hip pack as well. So I'm going to open this up to kind of give you a visual. So you can already see it just looks so much more spacious. Let me actually take my gear out of here so that you can see what it looks like on the inside comparatively. But looking at this, it's just like a one big top-down space. And then looking at the hip pack here, it just seems like you have more room to work with. And that for me is definitely preferred. So if I were to put all of this gear that I just had in here into the hip pack, you have a phone, a wallet, say I put my wallet in the little back pocket there, and then chapstick in this smaller pocket, and then attach my keys to the key leash. So it does feel like I almost have quicker access to all the gear that I need, and I don't have to sort of sift through it in this vertical shaped area. And so that's going to be the biggest difference. The other thing to note is that there are 2 little back pockets here, which I like because, like I mentioned with that chapstick that was just floating around in here, it has a nice little spot in here. And then my wallet has a place as well. Something to note is that this back slip pocket here doesn't actually have enough space for a phone. You can see it doesn't obviously fit vertically, doesn't fit sideways, and so that is going to go into that main compartment. You can also throw your keys back there, but like I mentioned before, anything that is too bulky is really going to start to impact that carry comfort. And so even though it can feel a little bit awkward to pack, it feels spacious, whereas everything slots into here, but it is a little bit harder to get to, and you really have to plan about how you're going to pack it before you actually get into it. So there you have it, the North Face Bozer Crossbody and Hip Pack 3. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.